You want to be first? You want to be great? You want to be important? You want to be significant? Well, you ought to be. If you're going to be my disciple, you must be.
Rudest shit ever is just when people try to shut down conversation. People say things to shut conversation down. So, inappropriate, offensive. What's offensive? It's offensive that you have this Dodge Ram Super Bowl ad that had MLK words. So let's listen to what they had to say.
Important. Keep feeling the need for being first. But I want you to be first in love.
I understand why people want to be protective of their icons. I didn't take it, I didn't find it offensive at all. In fact, I'd never heard of that Martin Luther King quote. And so I'm, thankful now that I've heard it. So the quote was that if you want to be recognized, if you want to be important, that's okay. You don't need to know the theory of relativity. You don't need to know, I think he said, the seventh law of thermodynamics in order to serve. All you need is a heart full of grace. So just love. Just be a good person and love and care. That's all you need to serve. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be a super, physics major with your thermodynamics and your relativity understanding. So Dodge Ram, yeah, I'm sure they're not the same as the freedom struggle, but could Dodge Ram serve the community? Could they be doing what they're doing out of love?
Good people don't smoke marijuana.
Train crash, another train crash. Amtrak crashed. And so I'm not for sure what's up with these trains crashing. Maybe that's the way we're going to get the infrastructure bill passed. So they're going to put it for more trains, high-speed rail. But even high-speed rail, that's for your coal or whatever. That's for, I don't see myself using the train ever. So I don't know. I guess maybe if it was like to California and back, that'd be a cool, train, a high-speed train. We down the Russian jet, so USA. So our Syrian ISIS allies that were arming actually are the ones that downed the Russian airplane. Then they shot and killed the pilot. It happened yesterday. The 2017 U.S. military spending bill provided authorization for the Department of Defense to arm the ISIS Syrian rebels al-Nusra with shoulder.
It's 420, Mr. President. Won't you light a joint with me? 420, Mr. President. Smoking bud will set us free.
The authorization spending bill. So this is Scott Tipton again. Scott Tipton voted to authorize all this funds to fund the ISIS Syrian rebels al-Nusra with shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missiles, or manned pads, PADS. At the time, the Russians vigorously objected to the dramatic U.S. move to provide sophisticated weaponry to the rebels, claiming rightfully that it turns out that the irrelevant decision also poses a direct threat to aircraft of the Russian aerospace forces. So, America didn't do it. We gave it to the our ISIS allies, and they did it. We're very close to World War III right now. The scenario where a U.S.-backed, U.S.-supplied jihadist group in Syria uses American weapons, to shoot down a Russian plane and then murders the pilot on the ground is a near-nightmare escalation.
I want you to be first in moral excellence. I want you to be first in generosity. That is what I want you to do.
Flippant, because essentially, do the American people care? We down the Russian jet, right? So World War III, here we come. You think we should start out with the nukes? You think we should hit them with a nuclear strike first, or should we do something else? Donald Trump was voted most likely to start a nuclear war in high school. Most Americans, the majority of Americans, think that he's going to initiate a nuclear war. So this is an aspirational thing to him. And then also they're listening to Henry fucking Kissinger, and Kissinger said that it's very rational to hit them with the nuclear bomb, a first strike, very, very rational, and he says it's tempting. So there you go. There's the, wink and a nod, the green light from old Henry Kissinger said, go ahead, take out North Korea. We wiped out 30 to 40% of their population in the Korean War, and it was over communism versus capitalism. Again, with the idea.
And so Jesus gave us a new norm of greatness. If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant.
That were sitting there talking about how Hillary Clinton's a warmonger. Yeah, right. Donald's against regime change. Bullshit. Yeah, he's really against empire, imperialism, intervention. Yeah, such a isolationist. Man, this is ridiculous. Now, after Trump is in there, we have more drone strikes, more innocent civilians killed. This is worse than Obama. This is worse, way worse. Not even close. He's escalating the war on ISIS. We still haven't got them. We're still in Iraq. Saddam's dead. Still in Afghanistan. Escalating Afghanistan. Osama bin Laden has already been thrown into the sea. We still have an 800 to 900 military bases. 800 to 900 military bases all across the world. 150 nations we have special ops in. There's 30 shadow wars in Africa. 30 brand spanking new Vietnams, and we're publicly bombing 8 nations right now, and the good old US of A is starting.
Good people don't smoke marijuana.
Many right now in Yemen, millions are starving to death. They're catching cholera. They're getting dehydrated, disease. Saudi Arabia is blowing them up, and the United States is providing cover to allow Saudi Arabia to rape the shit out of, to not rape would be actually a nicer thing. What they're doing to Yemen is just disgusting. You have train crashes, you got war, we're on the brink of war, and MLK was very much against war. So let's talk about MLK. Let's talk about Martin Luther King. People say that his history was whitewashed. Well, now we got an opportunity to talk about him. He says, it doesn't matter how smart you are, anybody can love, anybody can give a damn. So, with the war issues, there's 2 planes. We're very close to World War III. But let's get to the real issues, right? Sex. Who is Donald Trump fucking now?
Good people don't smoke marijuana.
Wolf had insinuated that Donald Trump was fucking Nikki Haley, or maybe Donald Trump was fucking Hope Hicks. Michael Wolf had insinuated that there was some fucking going on in the White House. There is some affair that was happening right now. So is he being loyal to his third lady, Melania, or is he slipping his big old donkey dick into something else? On January 16, 2018, just a few days ago, CNN reported that Fox News reporter Diana Falzone had written an article about Daniels and Trump in October 2016 that Fox News never published. It was a Stormy Daniels article. So Fox News suppressed information that would have been bad for their Fuhrer. Oh no, this is bad for Donald. Who would have known that Fox News would suppress negative information about their Fuhrer? It's almost like they're state propaganda. It's almost like they're just a state propaganda tool covering the government's ass. Everything the government does.
You first. This is what Jesus said to James and John. You must earn it.
Last thing I want to mention is just who Hope Hicks is. So there is that. Some people think that when Michael Wolf was talking about who is he fucking, that Nikki Haley, people put together Nikki Haley, that she was the woman that was, that was on Donald's dick. Or maybe it's Hope Charlotte Hicks, or maybe it's some other woman. He just said it could be anybody, and he didn't have enough evidence to actually put it into the book. So it was insinuated by other people. Hope Charlotte Hicks, she's born October 21st, 1988. She's an American communications and public relations consultant, former model who is the current White House communications director for Donald. From January to September 2017, she was the White House Director of Strategic Communications. So Hope Hicks is very much in the center of the Trump White House.
Every now and then I ask myself, what is it that I would want said And I leave the word to you this morning. If any of you are around when I have to meet my day, I don't want a long funeral. And if you get somebody to deliver the eulogy, tell them not to talk too long. And every now and then I wonder what I want them to say. Tell them not to mention that I have a Nobel Peace Prize. That isn't important. Tell them not to mention that I have 300 or 400 other awards. That's not important. Tell them not to mention where I went to school. I'd like somebody to mention that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others. I'd like for somebody to say that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to love somebody. I want you to say that day that I tried to be right on the war question. I want you to be able to say that day that I did try to feed the hungry. I want you to be able to say that day that I did try in my life to clothe those who were naked. I want you to say on that day that I did try in my life to visit those who were in prison. I want you to say that I tried to love and serve humanity. Yes, if you want to say that I was a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness. And all of the other shallow things will not matter.